Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United 3, not 2, 3. Manchester United 3, Everton 1. We go through into the next round and I think, you know what? I saw a lot of moaning today and this for me is why I am not running away with expectations, because I know this fan base too well. I know Manchester United too well. And I know that we have to keep our feet on the ground, because what happens with expectation is it leads into what we actually saw during that game. At half time, I'm looking at social media, I'm looking at the live chat, and I'm seeing people going, Malacia's shit, Anthony's shit, De Gea's shit, Martial's shit. And I'm like, literally this week, you've been talking about winning the bloody league. And we need to temper the expectations of what we are. We were very shit a year ago. The worst Manchester United Premier League side ever. We're making big strides. There is progress. But you know what? At half-time, we're 1-1 with Everton. We played really well in the first 5 minutes. And then we lost our way. And Everton scored a very lucky goal. It's 1-1 at half-time. And the big lesson for me is this is going to happen again. This is going to happen again and again and again over the next few months, because it's what happens in football. You're not playing Bournemouth at home every week. You will face challenges. There will be a deflection that goes in against the run of play. There will be a mistake. We will miss a one-on-one and we'll be 1-1. Or we might even be 1-0 down. And you look at the bench and you go, shit, we've got nothing no options up front. We definitely don't want to change any of our midfielders or our centre-backs. And this is why we've got to bring somebody in January, at least one. Because we're not going to cruise through every single game. It's just not going to happen. Nobody does. And today was a bit of a reality bite for some people, but that's why I really enjoyed it, because it was the old adage of it's good to win when you play bad. And I don't think we were dreadful, but we did drift through the game a lot, and a penalty at the end makes it look better than it was. But I'm actually quite encouraged by that. I actually like that, because that's an art in itself. I was very comfortable in the last 10 minutes. I didn't really feel like Everton were going to score. And I felt quite comfortable about it. But, you know, it wasn't a comfortable scoreline. And we won when we didn't play particularly well. I'm very interested to do the player ratings. We'll do them in a few minutes. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average, star for your man of the match. I'm very interested to see what people's perception of that game is. Because as I say, I've listened all week to we're going to win the league or we're going to get in a title race, and then I've seen reactions today, and I still think this fan base is bruised badly from the last 10 years. We don't know how to be relaxed. We don't know how to be patient. And I understand that. You know, some people don't want to be patient, but we go from one extreme to the other, and we saw it today. You know, the patience ran out very, very quickly. A couple of mistakes and those players are shit again, even though they've been brilliant for months. We've just got to take a chill pill and understand that, you know, the January transfer window will dictate so much about what we do this season, and we're still very much a work in progress. Good win, but the squad could use another ball-winning midfielder who can come on when Casemiro comes off, says Stephen. First off, Anthony did not really take players on, kept passing backwards, says Ikshan. Despite playing poorly, United victorious. The players are human, they're not machines. Exactly, Paul. We lose those games in recent years. Good fight to get the win, but you can see the fatigue starting to take its toll. That's from Caleb. Welcome to the Members Club, Angel. You know what? For me, Caleb, you've took the words out of my mouth. I mentioned it at the end of the watch-along. That's United's 4th game in 11 days, and it felt like it. This is my problem with the top 4 race. I don't think we've got a problem now. I think we've got a problem in March and April. We looked tired today. We looked fatigued today. That's our 4th game in 11 days. We played Forest last Tuesday, Wolves on Saturday, Bournemouth on Tuesday, and Everton Friday. It's a lot of football for a very compact squad that Ten Hag can actually rely on. And this is the problem we're going to have. And we've not really had any injuries yet. I know Donny's injured, but he wasn't a first teamer. We're going to have... we saw it against Villa away, didn't we, when we played Atletico Madrid on the Thursday. We're going to have games where we get tired. So winning a game like that's good. Winning when you're not at it is a really good trait to have. And we need to obviously... be wary of that. Even the so-called best teams in the league have played poorly this season. Our fan base is insanely overreactive, says Dusk. I don't see the negative today. I don't see the negative. I think we had too many shots from range. We didn't really put enough balls in the box. Vicky, I think the big thing is to try and assess what Ten Hag will think about it. And what he says publicly isn't necessarily what he says privately. I think if I was Ten Hag, I would be privately very happy because you're into the next round of the FA Cup. But if I'm assessing the game of football itself, I would say very sloppy in the final third, overthought it, didn't play the simple pass a lot. I saw people getting into positions where they could have played a simpler pass and they just held on to it a little bit too long. That's tiredness, that's not focus, and that's to be expected. But against a team like Everton, you're not going to get punished anyway. And the main thing really is now to use Charlton as a rotation game and give people some real mental and physical rest ahead of the Man City game. Why doesn't Anthony take players on 1v1, says Brandon? And given how many times he saved us in the past, De Gea is allowed to make a mistake. Mistakes happen. Muzzy, I've got nothing to say on the De Gea thing. It's a mistake. It cost us a goal. And then in the second half, he makes a really good save with his foot. What I would say is, though, there has always been, and there always will be, this weird agenda with the TV. I don't get it. I saw the Everton goal get shown about 15 times. De Gea made a really good save. We saw it 1.5. We saw it in real time and then a shit angle. It was a good save, but we never really got to see how good a save it was because it doesn't fit the agenda. You know, you got Ned Flanders with his new moustache having a pop at David De Gea before the game's even kicked off. And you think, has old Ned been watching Man United over Christmas, or has he just been tucking into his turkey sandwiches, being miserable? De Gea's been bloody brilliant for us. Made absolutely 3 world-class saves on Tuesday night. And old Ned's there slagging him off before the game's even started. It's just weird. Some people just have to go looking for the negative. Just be real. We're having a really good season. I think people like De Gea, Delot, Varane, Martinez, Shaw have been superb. Casemiro's on a different planet. Bruno's better. Eriksen's brought stability. Rashford's absolutely tearing it up. We're in a good place. We're progressing. What we need to do is add 4 or 5 more players and ship 4 or 5 out, because there's a big difference with Manchester United. Look, with all due respect, when you bring Fred, McTominay, Maguire on, there's a big difference. You can see it. And that's why last season we lost so many games, and this season we're not, because we've got better players in important positions. And Ten Hag's not going to solve that in January, but what they can do is deliver him a forward. I'm glad Bruno told Garnacho off for waving his arms about when he didn't get the ball. Love him, but it's the wrong attitude, says Suradeep. And my blood starts boiling when Maguire took the armband. Is it just me, says Marius. I want to talk about Rashford for a minute, just before we talk about the player ratings. I keep getting asked this, is Marcus Rashford world class at the moment? I'd file it under the same thing as our United title contenders. If you want to think United are title contenders and you want to think Marcus Rashford's world class, fill your boots. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Have your own opinion. My opinion is we're not title contenders and we won't be title contenders. And my opinion is Marcus Rashford's got to do a lot more to be world class, considering his last couple of years. But at the moment, he's on fire. And he has been for the last 3 or 4 months. And I think he's on the journey to being very, very special. So why label it? 2 assists and a goal tonight. Goals galore at the moment. I think we all know what's about to happen. We're going to play Man City and Arsenal over 2 weekends. And we'll find out a hell of a lot about individual players, but Manchester United in all. So I'm not in a rush to start saying we're going to win the FA Cup. We're going to get top 4. Marcus Rashford's world class. Those sort of things, they're all very exciting, but I don't want to label them because we've done that before. I remember us being top of the league under Ollie in January. I remember sitting here doing a match reaction going, we are top of the league. Said we weren't top of the league in May. So patience is a virtue. I think we're in a really good place. The team is playing as a team. The mentality is good. Even the players that come on, like Maguire and McTominay and Fred, you can see they're part of the team ethos. And I just think we need to build that because we're going to need that. We haven't got the squad, I don't think, to achieve what we can achieve this season. So we're going to need a little bit of luck and we're going to need a lot of focus. Our game really went to the next level after Harry came on, says Ollie. I feel like Bruno is trying to do too much sometimes when making these flare passes. I'm not worried about Bruno, Brandon. I think Bruno had a bad year last year. and he's still adjusting. But we've got the perfect. If you think Bruno's trying too hard and you think he's playing the wrong passes, what do you think Ten Hag thinks? You've got the right man to take him aside and tell him what he's doing. I'd trust the manager on that. Another win for Maguire, even though he played 8 minutes in stoppage time. Says, even the stoppage time helps. And I says 1 year ago, could never have said this, but Fred's been very good recently. Wouldn't mind starting him against teams with physical midfielder for Eriksen, says Ayos. I thought Fred did okay when he came on, but I think when Casemiro went off, that midfield battle suddenly became more of a battle, didn't it? I do think there is a lot to be said for potentially, and I'm only saying potentially, against Man City next week. Do you want to go Eriksen, Casemiro and Bruno, or do you want to chuck Fred in there with Casemiro just to give you a little bit more tenacity? That'd be very tactically interesting. I don't know whether he'll do it, but it might be worth doing. But I think what I want to say just before we do the player ratings as well, Ten Hag again deserves massive credit. I didn't predict that team tonight. I actually thought commentator on ITV was awful, jumped all over De Gea. There's something wrong with ITV, Sky, BT, and some of our foreign players. I don't get it. I don't get it. If you want to expose you don't like one of our players, you've just done a fucking good job of it, mates. Because any Man United fan who really has been watching United would say De Gea has been fantastic this season. Bar Brentford at the start of the season, and that probably, it's just a mistake. It's a one-off mistake, and he still makes a good save in the second half. This is appalling. It's appalling punditry. And it's appalling broadcast media to try and sway the public against David De Gea. You should be sacked. And I'm not saying that because I like De Gea. You should be sacked because you are miles off, absolutely miles off. You have exposed yourself as somebody with an agenda. And that's really sad on the mainstream because, you know what? I don't think there's a player in the United team at the moment that you could throw under the bus like that. I don't. Even the Maguires and the McTominays and the Lindelofs, they haven't played enough to be thrown under the bus. So I find it disgusting, really. And what worries me a little bit more is if they're doing that to De Gea, what's their deep-seated feeling towards Ten Hag, really? I'll leave you with that. Anyway, let's do the player ratings because I think that's really important that we do that. But no, what I was going to say very, very quickly was about Ten Hag. I think the way he's managed this squad over 4 games, over 11 days, has been brilliant. Obviously, he played Maguire and Lindelof against Bournemouth, and it worked. Tonight, he played Varane and Shaw, and then brought Martinez on, and it worked. He brought Anthony into the team. He played Rashford. He's so hard to predict because he's his own man, Ten Hag. But I think what he'll do against Charlton on Tuesday is he'll play Maguire and Lindelof, and he'll play McTominay and Fred. And he'll rest Luke Shaw, Casemiro, Varane, Martinez, Dalot. I think Wan-Bissaka will play. I think he'll rest his back 4. And he might even rest De Gea. He might play Butland. So I think that I think that's his plan. We'll see. De Gea is brilliant. He's one of the best in the league. He's allowed to make mistakes. It's Brandon. I tell you what, I was watching Liverpool last season. I watched them over about 4 or 5 games, and in 3 of them, Alisson made ridiculous mistakes. And he's probably the best goalkeeper in the league. People make mistakes. Are Everton fans going to say sack Conor Cody for that? He's made a mistake. People make mistakes. Martial missed a 1-on-1. I still thought his overall game was good. Anyway, let's do the player ratings. Thanks everyone for watching, by the way. Make sure you smash a like on the video and please do subscribe. We're live every morning at 10 o'clock. I think we've got a fan forum tonight as well. I think it's from the studio. I loved that fan forum the other night. I really hope it is in the studio. I'll find out for you in a minute. But let's go into the player ratings. So, easy for me. David De Gea's a 6. I'm stunned. I'm not surprised, but I'm stunned. You're giving him a 5.3 for a second mistake. A 1 second mistake. He makes a brilliant save from Coleman in the bottom right-hand corner. His distribution. Can you remember that one in the first half where he knocked it 40 yards and it got flicked on and we nearly scored? Distribution was good. nothing about his game was bad, apart from one mistake, and people are slaughtering him. It's bullying. You know, that's what it is. It's bullying. It's pure bullying. He makes one mistake in a game where he played overall very well and made a really good save. He's been brilliant all season, and people are giving him a 5. I don't know. The world's just not fair at times, is it? Delo, probably a 6. Obviously, he's been out for a while. I do think that Delo and Anthony have a connection, and it was nice to see them, back playing. But look, Delo's not played in a few weeks, and he looked like a player that needed that game. So he'll get sharper and sharper. And again, I think some people have lost the ability to understand that people are human beings, and they think that Delo should be playing like he was before the World Cup. He's just been out for 3 weeks, injured. He can't run. He's had a hamstring problem. He's only been back in training 5 days. So of course he's not going to be match sharp. Varane, probably 6.5 for me. I thought he was... Varane's got very high standards. I loved the bit of skill in the first half. He might have been able to do a little bit better on the cross for the goal. I know it was De Gea's mistake, but he might have been able to do a little bit better. But overall, I think Varane's been brilliant since the World Cup. Having lost the World Cup final and been ill, I think his mentality is unquestionable. And he was getting involved in the attacks a lot in the first half as well. So you've given him a 6.7, I'd give him a 6.5. I'd give Luke Shaw the same, 6.5. What an important player Luke Shaw is at the moment. Left back, left centre back. The biggest compliment I can play to Luke Shaw at the moment is that during the watch along, some people were saying I'm conflicted. I don't know whether I want Luke Shaw at left centre back or Martinez at left centre back. And I was like, bloody hell, people actually are having that conversation now. Not for me. Martinez is the left-sided centre-back and Luke Shaw is the left-back. But what I would say is, if Martinez say Martinez was out, that bad tackle, if Martinez had been out for a month, 100% Luke Shaw's going left centre-back and Malacia's at left-back. So what Luke Shaw has done is, not only is he the first-choice left-back, I think he's now Martinez's understudy. And that, to Lindelof and Maguire, is not good news, but Ten Hag wants a left-sided centre-back who is left-footed and mobile. And Luke Shaw is the only person who can do that job if Martinez is out. And I think he's seen that. And he likes it. Ten Hag. 6.5 for me for Mark Malacia. Look, Damari Gray had him on toast, but that was offside. Made some good tackles. I think context is key. Varane's 6.5 is because... Varane's brilliant, and that was an better than average performance for Varane. I'm not saying that Malacia played as well as Varane or Shaw, but for his journey, I thought it was a better than average Malacia performance. There's still rawness there, but he's a young player in his first few months at Manchester United. And as I say, I saw Evra's first few months, and they weren't great. So I think encourage the lad. There's a good player there, and it's good to see him getting more game time as well. Casemiro, went off quite early, but easily a 7. He's just so good. He got bounced on the Everton goal. He did. But as I say, these players are not robots. Sometimes a mistake makes you a better player. And Onana absolutely bounced Casemiro. I thought it was a foul, but it wasn't. He just bounced him off it. And then they had that 50-50 where Casemiro floored him and it was a fair tackle. The battle is part of the journey. You don't win every battle, but you've got to win the war. And Casemiro, 99 times out of 100, he's winning the war at the moment. He's just so good, and you notice it when he goes off. That's the problem. I would say, and some people might disagree, but I would say if you could pick one player that doesn't get injured between now and the end of the season, you can only pick one, it has to be him, because he's just so important. Last season, we would have drawn that game. The look is changing. Another win, more confidence. So many questions for Ten Hag after that game, which will only make us better. Yes, winning when you're playing not so well is what it's all about. Eriksen, probably a 6. He's having a bit too many 6s at the moment, Eriksen. I'm a massive fan of his, and Ten Hag loves him, but I'd say he's having quite a lot of 6s at the moment. He's not playing bad. And he's set pieces, and he's had a few assists recently. And I tell you what, he nearly scored an absolute beauty. That shot in the first half. Oh, if that goes in the top corner, what a goal. He's not playing bad. He's certainly not playing bad. And average is not bad. I think sometimes people think an average performance is a bad performance. It's not. An average performance is just, you've done, a steady game. And it was a steady game from Eriksen, in my opinion. You give him a 6.2. Bruno, probably 6, yeah. Again, you could argue that Bruno's probably having a lot of 6s at the moment. But compared to where he was last, and let's not forget, Bruno last season was having a lot of 5s. So I don't think Bruno's in a bad place. I don't think Ten Hag's unhappy with him. But if he was, he'd be working with him anyway, saying, I want you to do this less, I want you to do this more. So, I thought you can never question Bruno's effort. You can never question his involvement. But look, we can't sit here and say that wasn't a great United performance and then give everybody an 8. Like, it doesn't work like that. We didn't play particularly well tonight. It's inevitable that people are not going to have 7s and 8s. They're going to have more 6, 6.5. So yeah, that's what I do with that. Anthony, probably a 6. Really pleased he got the goal. Had opportunities to do a little bit more. I think there was opportunities to have a better shot, play a better pass, put a better cross in, but it wasn't bad. And considering the stick he's had recently, I thought there's definitely progression there, and got his goal, something to work on. I wasn't unhappy with Anthony tonight, and I think he's getting a lot of unfair stick anyway, so give him a bit of confidence. My man of the match, I'm not going to mess about. I liked Casemiro. I thought Varane and Shaw played well, but 1 goal and 2 assists. And the funny thing is about Rashford, and this is what Ten Hag's talking about focus, is he gets 2 assists and a goal, and he's man of the match. But remember what Ten Hag said in the press conference about how does Marcus Rashford get better? 100% focus for 100% of the game. Now, if you watch that game tonight, there was quite a few times where Marcus Rashford held onto the ball for too long or ignored the pass and it broke down. And yet he got 2 assists and a goal. So when you're talking about how good Rashford can be, or you're asking Ten Hag how good he can be, if he starts making more right decisions, he'll play even better than 2 assists and a goal against Everton. So there's so much more that Rashford can do, but at the moment he is on fire. So it's scary that you can pick improvement points in his game, and yet I'd still give him a strong 8. So I thought he was really good tonight. I feel with Rashford at the moment that when he gets the ball, something's going to happen, and the fear factor is there for the opposition. I can't wait to see what Rashford does against Man City and Arsenal, because if he does nothing and he plays badly, people will just call him a flat track bully. I think he'll deliver, and I think when you do it in those games, United are on trial against Man City and Arsenal to see how far we've progressed. So are some of these players. Probably unpopular, but I'd give Martial a 6. I knew people would give him a low score, but he should have scored. He definitely should have scored, but I'm not having it that he had a bad game. I'm sorry, I'm not. His link-up play is very good. His work rate is very good. He's up against 3 centre-backs tonight. The unselfish runs he makes, the space he creates, the players he occupies, the space he finds to play the little link-up plays. I actually thought Martial's performance tonight was his best one since we've come back. I think he looked really rusty against Bournemouth and Wolves and Forest, but I actually think tonight he looked a lot fitter. And I agree with Leo J. I'm not going to knock a performance where I actually thought it was better than the last 3. And my theory with Martial is that he didn't go to the World Cup and he doesn't look particularly fit. So I think the fitness is coming back, the sharpness is coming back, and I would be tempted to play him against Charlton as well and give him another 60 minutes. I think he's getting better for the minutes. And look, let's not forget, Marcus Rashford played in the World Cup. He's sharp, and we're benefiting from that. Martial has had 6 weeks off. He's not where Rashford is. and I think he's getting sharper by the game. So I'm going to give him a bit of a positive. Fred was probably a 6 for me. Did well when he came on. Garnacho probably a 6 as well. Martinez a 6 as well. I'm not going to moan about it. 6. Yeah, nothing to moan about. Ten Hag. I think managerially it was a good performance. I thought his subs were right. I thought his team selection was clever. I think he's had 4 games in 11 days and he's won 4 games. I think you've got to give this guy some credit. I'm going to give him an 8. I think it's been I feel like, although we're playing on Tuesday, I feel we've closed a chapter on those 4 games. I feel that the Forest, Wolves, Bournemouth, Everton 4 games were their own little chapter. I feel that Charlton will be the reserves, and then Man City and Arsenal are their own chapter as well. So I think we've closed the chapter there with 4 wins. And I feel that, in general, although some people have probably marked Ten Hag on tonight, I'm marking it on the way he's managed 4 games in 11 days. And I'm giving him an 8. I think he's done a fantastic job. And, I wouldn't have predicted he would manage it like that. He would rotate it like that and still manage to put strong teams out. He's done a great job. He's doing a great job. My only message is to the board: back the manager. Get him João Felix. Don't go getting him some shit loan deal. Don't go getting him some risky loan deal that no one else wants. Get him João Felix. That's what I'm on about. Your man of the match. Make sure you smash a like on the video for him. Marcus Rashford tonight. And the thing about we're going to do the chart show tomorrow night. I wonder who will be number 1 in the chart show. But it could be still Casemiro, to be fair. But you know what? Marcus Rashford at the moment is stunning performance-wise. Sorry, I've just had a message here. I thought it was something to do. He's just absolutely on it at the moment. And I think that smash a like on the video for him because he's really delivering. And United go into the draw. Could be in a semi-final. What an exciting time. What an exciting time. The club need to get João Felix. If we've got new owners, they need to be putting pressure on the current owners. And if we've got current owners who are still trying to find an owner, it doesn't matter what scenario you cook up in your head. Go and get João Felix and go and get him now. Because I looked at that game at half-time and I'm like, if we're struggling for a goal, you're chucking Elanga and Garnacho on. That's not good enough. If you don't think Martial played well, who are you bringing on? You've got to go and get a decent forward now. Should Erik Ten Hag be more outspoken when speaking with the press about the need for reinforcements in January? What more can he do? He was asked about it yesterday and he says, we've got to do it. He was asked about January reinforcements and he says, we've got to do it. So, I don't think you can say anything any more than he is, to be fair. But, please do subscribe to the channel. Smash a like on the video. I'm back with you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock with the news show. No doubt we'll be talking about transfers. But we're in the studio. We're back in the studio for the fan forum. So get over there. And get into the debate. What shall I send you over there to discuss? How's about get them to discuss is Rashford world class? Because if Ricky's on, it'll be hilarious. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.